Hey there, in today's video we are going to review in preparation for the Chapter 18 exam. In English, we often use the word if in ordinary conversation. Most of the time we use the present indicative in the if clause. For example, if I am hungry, I eat, or if I am hungry, I will eat, or I'm going to eat. Similarly, we say, if you're hungry, eat. It's the same in Spanish. Most of the time, we use the present indicative in the if clause. Look at the parallel sentences. Si tengo hambre, como. If I am hungry, I eat. Si tengo hambre, comeré, or voy a comer. Again, same thing. If I'm hungry, I will eat, or I'm going to eat. Last of all, si tienes hambre, come. Here we're giving a command. If you are hungry, eat. So again, in both English and Spanish, we have three options for the result clause. If our if clause is in the present, the result clause can be in the present indicative as well, or it can be in the future indicative. I will eat. Last of all, the result clause can be a command or the imperative. Now, in both English and Spanish, we can also use if clauses to talk about hypotheticals or counterfactuals, things that we're not feeling right now or things that may physically be impossible. Let's keep with our same easy example. If I were hungry, I would eat. In Spanish, si tuviera hambre, comería. Now notice, I'm not hungry now. I'm just pondering what I would do if I were hungry. Now notice the mood and the tenses of the two clauses, the if clause and the result clause. In English, if I were hungry is in the present subjunctive. The result clause, I would eat, is in the conditional. Now in Spanish, the si clause, the if clause, is also in the subjunctive, but it is in the past subjunctive. And just like in English, the result clause uses the conditional. Okay, so many of us are having trouble because the present indicative and the subjunctive in English are often used interchangeably. So when we in English talk about hypotheticals, we often just say, if I were hungry, I would eat. We don't specifically highlight, if I were hungry, I would eat. As a result, we English speakers may complicate this needlessly. For that reason, there's good news for you. The Chapter 18 exam will only focus on the correct use of si clauses in hypotheticals. What that means is you will not have to determine when to use the present indicative in the si clause versus when to use the past subjunctive. You will only use the past subjunctive and the conditional. Nevertheless, I encourage you to watch this slideshow a couple of times because it's important to our understanding of Spanish that we do eventually learn the difference. So the rest of this slideshow is only going to be practice using the past subjunctive and the conditional. We will also practice using this mod's vocabulary. I'm going to do the first slide with you, and then I'm going to mail you the rest of the PowerPoint so that you can practice on your own. Notice all the verbs are going to be in red The other vocabulary words are merely bolded. After we correct the answers, I'm going to color code them, hopefully so it'll be more easy for you to identify them. The verbs in the past subjunctive are in red, the conditional is green, and the infinitives are going to be in purple. Okay, here's our first set of blanks. If I lost my passport, I would have problems at customs. Now, both passport and customs are in our vocabulary this mod. If you don't remember the verbs, lost is the verb perder, and to have is the verb tener. If you want to pause this while you think of your answer. Okay, back again. Si perdería mi pasaporte, tendría problemas en la aduana. Now notice, here's a mnemonic that I used. In the hypothetical clause, the verb after the word si is always in the past subjunctive. Notice the presence of s's in past subjunctive because they follow the si clause. As you get better in Spanish, you won't need a little mnemonic like this, but this is a good way to check yourself after you do your answers. So let's look back at that slide again. Si perdiera mi pasaporte, tendría problemas en la aduana. Going to the next slide. You would go to the tobacco stand if you needed a match. And again, tobacco stand and match are vocabulary words for this mod. And you're going to want to use the verbs ir and necesitar. Go ahead and pause this for a second so you can conjugate your verbs. All right, the answer is irías al estanco si necesitaras un fósforo. And notice in this sentence, the si clause comes after the result clause. That doesn't change where the past subjunctive goes. The past subjunctive always follows the word si. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end this presentation here. And like I said, I will send you the complete PowerPoint so you can practice on your own. Thanks for listening.